discussing this 7th and 8th shloka. Jnani's Lakshana. A yogi, he is calling, instead of Jnani, he is calling here as a yogi. Yogi, Siddha Yogi. Siddha Yogi means a yogi, not a sadhaka, but attained the perfection in his yoga sadhana. Yoga again is in different meaning, but in meditation. The yoga in the sense of dhyana. One who has attained perfection in dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga here is nididhyasana. Its perfection is attaining jnanam, that's all. Attaining jnanam. So, the dhyana yogi, when he attains perfection, he is called as a siddha yogi, or he is called yoga rudha, is calling here yoga rudha, or yukta yogi, another word he is going to use. These are all various terms used by various people. Yukta yogi, siddha yogi, or yoga rudha. All these words he uses here. So, Jnani's Lakshana. Lakshana means after he attains yoga siddhi. Siddhi means perfection. Siddhi means that power is one meaning. Siddhi means that supernatural powers is one meaning. Siddhi means any perfection is called siddhi. In Karya Siddhi, we use the word siddhi for any normal word. Karya Siddhi means you achieve something successfully. You do something successfully. You need to go to Mysore and meet somebody, and you talked to him and came back. We say Karya Siddhi. Karya Siddhi means what you wanted to do, you achieved successfully. Siddhi means a success, a perfection, it in general. So here, Yoga Siddhi means any yoga. If it is a Dhyana Yoga Siddhi. If it is that Ashtanga Yoga, that's Siddhi. Siddhi in general means perfection in any yoga, whichever you take. So here, Siddha Yogi has certain characters. Those characters imply contrast from a Jiva Buddhi. A Jiva, Ajnani's Drishti, how he takes himself, how his sense organs function, his mind's function, how his inward thinking functions, how he relates to people, how he understands life. This is common man's thinking. So a yoga siddha, a siddha yogis, all these aspects are different. So why talking this difference and talking the characters of a yogi? Because these characters form sadhana steps for sadhaka. A sadhaka can keep this in view, not just mechanically imitate them at the behavior level. It is not simply, this we have discussed anyway, so not simply imitating mechanically these external features, but that external features is an expression of his inward understanding. So inner understanding. So he should try to tune up himself. So try to get that inner understanding when these features become spontaneous expressions. These features become spontaneous expressions of him when he gets that inner vision. So this should go together. So for example, he says control of sense organs. So two levels. One is a general control of sense organs. A sadhaka, a true beginner who has not even listened to Vedanta, or he just started listening to Vedanta. That is the time also we talk of self-control. That is a control of sense organs. But that level of control of sense organs and this yogi's level of control of sense organs, there is a difference. The beginning sadhaka, he wants to simply control so that he won't get attracted, he won't get carried away by external things. He avoids overindulgence in any pleasures or anything. Simply avoiding overindulgence, that's all. So that energy of the mind and sense organs is saved. Mind doesn't unnecessarily accumulate wrong samskaras. So it is only at that level. But with that self-control, that control comes at least when there is a vairagyam. With Vairagya, he develops a little control, and later he does Vedanta Shravana and then becomes inward. After listening to Vedanta, then reflection, then when he comes to Dhyana Yoga, then at that level, the same sense control rises to very high level. There, this control is totally of different nature because the sense organs get disturbed due to different reasons. One is due to external attraction. External attraction has gone because that external attraction was there in the beginning. With Vairagyam, he conquered it. He started doing Vichara. Even then, sense organs get disturbed. But here, this disturbance is very subtle. Very subtle. Because earlier only unacceptable things, certain other things he would avoid. Unnecessary pleasures, unnecessary restlessness he would avoid. Now, even the normally accepted life, now normally he has got, now see, he's seeing and then hearing and touching, these are normal there. So basic living also needs a certain interaction with world. Even if you are a sannyasi, you give up worldly pleasures, but still I see, ears hear, and then the cold and heat and these basic things are there. These basic, because the perception, sense organs are there and there is a perception. So, this perception you can't stop because it is choiceless. Once you are in waking state, that's all, perception is switched on. Waking up means what? During sleep, perception stops. Once you are awake, sense organs are on and you start perceiving the world. This perception is choiceless. It doesn't depend upon your will. You can't stop this perception. As long as you are in waking state, this perception is on. Only when you go to sleep, it stops. Again, when you are awake, it is there. It is choiceless. Both are choiceless. Perception during waking state is choiceless. That it is suspended during sleep is also choiceless. That means it doesn't depend upon our will. So here, but this natural perception also disturbs. Because we are not overindulging in pleasures, but the simple routine perception of what you call the heat and cold and these normal perceptions are there. Even this disturbs a little bit, but this is a very subtle disturbance. This disturbance is not of the mind. Disturbance from his abiding in Atma, from his being Sakshi, it disturbs him and brings back to the sense organ, mind level. While listening to Vedanta, he gets a little flash, understand that I am a Sakshi, but he doesn't stay as a Sakshi. Again and again mind comes. Mind means the thought comes. Thought and perception again comes. So, because that consciousness, the Sakshi, he doesn't stay all the time. Just like a flash it may come, again slip down. So, at that stage, so again when he comes to the level of mind, that identification with the mind and the perception remains. So the normal perception also little bit disturbs. This disturbance is very subtle. This disturbance only means that you are not staying as a Sakshi, still you come back to the mind, still you are with the mind. So Nididhyasana helps at that stage where you leave the mind and stay as a Sakshi. You leave the sense organs. You are no more sense organ. You are purely consciousness. Sense organs are only superficial appearances. So in Nididhyasana, what you see something like a flash, you stay steadily in your Sakshi state. You stay steadily in that conscious state. This is done in Nididhyasana. In fact, what is Nididhyasana? We have not started. We are only talking about it beforehand. The preliminary stage of first Karma Yoga is a first preparation. Then certain qualities of Jnani you have to practice, and certain what you call food habits, his lifestyle, and all that he talks about. They will come in the next shloka. Then afterwards, he talks of how to sit in a meditation, then breathing and mind. All these are still preparation. Then actual comes what happens in the mind during Nididhyasana. These are all preliminary stages alone we are discussing still. So, what we understand in Vedantic Vichara, self-enquiry, the same thing we make it steady. That's all. So, what comes as a flash remains natural to you. So, therefore, we say it is owning up your nature. In owning up your nature, you are not doing anything, you are not acquiring anything new, you are just remaining natural. It's like a person, you take a simple example, when person is walking or running, body will be in very active stage. When you come back and remain relaxed, come and sit. Even when you sit, your blood circulation is fast, breathing is fast, because now you are not running or walking. But when you are walking, the breathing was fast, blood circulation was fast. You can feel that your body is little active. But this activity is not visible. See, two type of activity. One is when you move your hands and legs and your body is moving, others can see. You come back, you are not walking and you sit quietly. When you sit quietly, others say, oh, he is relaxed now. His hands and legs are not moving. But he can feel still circulation is running, blood circulation. It won't instantly stop. It takes at least a few seconds or half minute, 1 minute, then the circulation comes down. The nervous system also, it was active. Because when you are running, you have to perceive fast. You have to perceive things. What is there? Is there a wall or stone or something? You have to see and then run. So when you are running, your sense organs have to be very alert and very active. Now when you are sitting, that alertness of nervous system comes down. Over alertness, it has over alert. Nervous system becomes relaxed. It doesn't have to perceive. It doesn't have to see. It doesn't have to think. It remains relaxed. Breathing also has to come down. Then blood circulation has to come down. This inward disturbance, you feel little pressure. After walking and running, you come and sit. Instantly, body is not active, but inwardly the person alone can feel, others can't know. He can feel, still there is active inside. Inside it is active. You take another 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and even thoughts also. The thought was also thinking because it is active. The will is active while running. Now the will also has to be relaxed. It doesn't have to make decision. It remains relaxed. No decision, no thinking. It just relaxed. You do it for 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes. Then what happens? Your mind is receding back to its natural state. You understand? Mind is receding back. Receding means coming back to its natural state. Comes back. Here, you are not doing anything. You are giving up all action. You are giving up effort. You are becoming effortless. You are becoming effortless. It is unwinding the effort. Earlier, while running and walking, you are making effort. You are using the will. Here, you are not using the will. You are dropping the will. The muscles were stiff while running. The muscles also. You see, when you hold it, you can see the muscle becomes stiffened. Now, when you leave it relaxed like this, then the stiffness goes away. Even after left it, still there is a little bit. Consciously, you have to remove it. Consciously, when you do, there is still little stiffness in the muscles. Then you consciously remove it. Then hand is just lying there. There is a slight difference. When you put your hand, part of tension is removed, but still there is a part of little bit of stiffness in the muscles. Then you consciously say, no, I am not going to lift my hand for a while. I just leave it there. I drop it. As if the pen is dropped there, the hand is dropped. It just leaves it. There is a subtle difference. If you have to watch it, probably you must have seen already. So when you simply put your hand, still your will is working there because I placed it. Because next moment I am going to lift. When I am going to lift, still will is functioning there. But no, I am not going to lift it. I don't know how many minutes I take it. Now I am going to leave my hand. Leave it completely. When you leave it, your will is withdrawn from the muscles. Now when you want to lift it, it takes few seconds. You have to apply the will, the muscle gun, then you lift it. Instantly it won't come. It won't come. There are two ways. One is when you place your hand, when you are simply put your hand, still will is there. And you can lift it instantly. But otherwise, when you leave it, it takes few seconds to use your will, become conscious and then lift it. That means there is a subtle difference. When you leave your hand, it's a totally left. Like you are in driving. I'm not a driver, but I watch others doing it. When you tentatively stop it, still engine is on. Engine is on, you stopped it. Just for a while, somebody gets down. So that you can instantly go on, move on. But other ways, you just stopped the engine and everything stopped, totally relaxed. Then to start, it takes time. Similarly, when you came running, walking, you sat, but still it is on, inside it is on. It takes that inner one also has to be relaxed. Just giving an example. Similarly, mind is active. Mind is still thinking. The will is working. So, the subconscious mind is also working. All that has to be relaxed. The subconscious mind, the will, everything has to be. Now I don't have to do anything. I don't think of anything. I don't take any decision. I don't use my will. You have to withdraw the will. That means you have to unwind its functioning. It is already in active state. Now you withdraw that activeness. You withdraw that activeness. So the will recedes. You say, don't do anything. If you do, then will be operating. The thinking will be operating. So it is not operation of the will, it is being simply conscious of. You are conscious. Consciousness is naturally there. You are aware of. It is effortless consciousness. Effortless consciousness. It's like when you make a sound. Simply sound. Rama. Rama. The sound is happening. You are aware of. Just to be aware of the sound, you don't make any effort. Hearing is not a matter of will. See this. Hearing a sound is not a matter of will. Hearing takes place effortlessly. Effortlessly it takes place. You are not consciously doing it. In action, you consciously do it. You apply your will. You apply your will and do it consciously. Any action, any deed. But listening, seeing is not a matter of will. Is seeing a matter of will? You leave your eyes open. Your mind, which was elsewhere means if it were preoccupied mind, you bring the mind just behind the eyes. Your eyes are already open. Whatever is in front of your eyes, it just happens to see. Seeing naturally takes place, effortlessly. No will is required to see, isn't it? To see, no will is required. Eyes are open. Your mind is not preoccupied. Mind is relaxed. And it is there behind your eyes. Just remain. Whatever is in front of you, the book, the pen, the white color, just gets seen. The seeing takes place. You don't see. Though we use the English verb, you don't see it. Seeing naturally takes place. Sound also. You remain. Silence you are hearing. There is no sound. Then somebody speaks or somebody makes noise. You happen to hear. The sound gets heard. Then followed by silence. Silence means no sound. Sound, no sound. You just listen. You are conscious of. To be conscious is not an effort, is not a will. Consciousness is naturally there. You don't require will to be conscious of. See the difference. To be conscious of, you don't require will. Consciousness is already there. Whatever happens, you hear. See, some sound. When you remain silent, a distant sound you can hear. Very far away from the road you can hear. So, a mild sound from a distance, it just gets heard. It gets heard. Listening, hearing takes place. Sound takes place. You don't use your will to hear. Just remain. Just remain. Sound hearing happens. When there is a silence, no sound. I am conscious of no sound. conscious of sound, conscious of no sound. Consciousness is naturally there, effortlessly there. So this way you remain effortless, just to be conscious. Whatever happens, you are aware of. Just happens. Whatever happens, good or bad, don't judge them. So that moral, immoral, virtue, unvirtue, virtue and vice, good and bad, right and wrong, all that you don't use them. Don't use the standard of right or wrong. Whatever the sound you hear, then suddenly something falls. It has fallen. You hear the sound. Now, if you feel emotionally, something went wrong, it broke, whether breaks or doesn't break, that's a material. That's a different issue. It's good or bad, useful or useless is different. Just sound you are hearing. Hear the sound. You are aware of. Sound gets heard. Here, mind recedes. Mind is a mind only when your will is operating. Mind is mind only when it is relationship is there. Two things. Mind works in two ways. Only in will. Will means it is thinking. Consciously it is making a decision. It is making a thought, creating a thought. When mind is creating a thought, consciously thinking, consciously willing, that is a will. Second is when relational. In relational mind, relation is cause and effect, and then time-wise relation, spatial relation, these are all. Now when you are conscious of, in nididhyasana, these two things get dissolved. Neither the will is operating, that means you are not imagining, you are not making a decision, so you are just conscious of. Second thing is the relational thought of time and space and object, all the relationals you drop. All the will, operation of will, drop means dropping a will should not become another will again. That's a very delicate thing. That cannot be explained orally. You have to learn. We only make a suggestion and leave them. You have to test yourself. Is my will operating or I am relaxed? Without will I am just conscious of. We only show this contrast and leave you. You have to just see for yourself. Is my still operating? In the beginning you would not know. But more and more you watch, you understand, yes, I am using the will. Now just to be conscious. Be conscious. To be conscious, you don't have to do anything. Consciousness is naturally there. Just accept it. Admit it. That's all. Your mind stops. That's why we call amani bhava. Mind becomes no mind when the will is stopped, and then the relationships are stopped. There is simply consciousness, which is effortless, which is natural. Then the whole world, body, mind, etc., time, place, everything is within consciousness. Consciousness itself is effortlessly natural. This you practice it. Again and again mind comes, thoughts come, this will comes. Even if it comes, don't fight with the mind. Just leave it. Whatever happens, just be aware of. That is the only effort you do. That is the only thing you do. You are aware of. You are aware of. That's all. Even if thought comes, don't fight with the thought. Same thing you are aware of. The thought itself remains silence. Or even if it arises, it doesn't disturb your consciousness. If thought arises in the consciousness. Subsides in the consciousness. So without disturbing the consciousness, the thought may arise, may subside, may arise, may subside, but the consciousness remains unaffected. So this way, subconscious mind also thoughts arise. Let them rise. Don't force them, don't protest them, don't resist them. Just be conscious of. Even that subconscious mind also is within your consciousness. That way you remain. You remain means you allow yourself to remain. That is better. You allow yourself just to remain. Even to remain. See, doing is an action. Is remaining an action? You just remain. To be. Is being an action? Being is not a will, matter of will. To be, just to be, remain. Remaining or being is not a matter of action. It's already there. So you make an auto suggestion, just to be, remain. It is there on its own, effortlessly. Things get known. You are not knowing. Even knowing is not a conscious effort. Knowing is not a conscious effort. Things get known. Because consciousness is there, things are there, they just get known. It's like when there is a light, whatever is there, automatically they fall within the light. Here is a pen, a notebook, whatever is on the table. When you switch on the light, they all fall within the light. Light is natural, spontaneous, effortlessly it is there. So, this effortlessness is nididhyasana. In upasana, you are making effort. That's a difference. Your mind is entertaining one thought, avoiding all other thoughts. Avoiding means what? Two way. Either don't allow other thoughts or include all other thoughts into one thought. Either way. Either you hold on to one thought and exclude all other. That's upasana I am talking. In upasana, to understand the contrast I am telling, you hold on to one thought and don't allow all other thoughts to come. Or any other thought comes, you include it in one large thought. All thoughts are included in one. Avoiding all other thoughts is a yogic way. Bhakta's way is you take one grand thought. You include all thoughts into this one thought. Any thought comes, it is a part of this thought alone. So, you don't move away from that one grand thought. Any thought arises, it is a part of it. This is Bhakta's way. That is a yogi's way. So, once you go inwardly, there are a lot of subtle differences within the mind. So, that is a Bhakta's way and yogi's way. So, Vedantin doesn't make any difference whether that way or this way. Everything remains within consciousness is only Vedantin's way. You may include yogi way, you may include Bhakta way. Both we don't mind. Anything is okay for us. But whatever the thought, it is within consciousness is the only Vedantins. See the difference. Yogi's way, Bhakta's way, and then Vedantin's way. Bhakta means Upasaka's way. So there, he takes one thought. One thought he takes and includes all other thoughts in it. And this one thought is not a mechanical thought. It is a creative imagination. Creative imagination means the thought you are trying to make it a lively thought. It's not a mechanical dummy thought. It is like you are trying to recall somebody. You have seen something, some mountain or some a historical event. I don't know whether you have seen whatever, some fort of a king of olden days. You try to recall, the picture doesn't come. Yes, I remember, I have seen the fort, or but the Eiffel Tower in France, something you must have seen it. Now try to recall it. It doesn't come clearly. Then what you do? Just mind relax, concentrate on it. Then you try to visualize it. Visualize means what? With your mental picture, creative mind. With a creative mind, try to bring a picture of it. So it is a creative imagination. A creative imagination is there is a difference between a simple memory and a creative imagination. In that creative imagination, it is not simple memory. The memory becomes a living thought. The living thought, if you still imagine, still you hold on to that creative imagination, it becomes a living experience. That's why in Upasakas have got Ishta Devata Darshana. Like Rama, Krishna, Shiva, you have a vision of gods. Gods are anybody. Any god, rishi or anybody, whomever you imagine. First it comes as a memory. Then later it comes as a thought. The thought becomes lively. More lively. Then it starts becoming an experience. Therefore, you have the gods' darshanas. It is possible. It is easy. Only thing your mind has to cultivate for months together. Then over a period of time, maybe a few months or 1 year or 2 years, then you start having a vision. Not only you are inside, you can see with your eyes also you see them. Imagination becomes a lively fact. So this is called the vision of God. So we have a Rama, Krishna, Shiva. But these are, though imaginations, so two things are imagination. There are mentally disturbed person also can see the visions. See, I say my God is giving me revelations, etc. I get a revelation. So in these things, two things are there. Your mind, highly disturbed mind also sees God is speaking. You can hear voices. Oh, I hear some voice. I get some messages. In these things, mind can be two. A disturbed mind, emotional mind, you imagine lot. Sometimes what happens, you imagine your own imagination. You imagine. Afterwards, what happens? You internalize your own thoughts. What you read in the books, or what somebody says, or your own, out of your own ego, your own hatred, your own love, keep on imagining about somebody. Because along with your ego, along with your raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes, you imagine. Keep on imagine, and that pushes back into your subconscious mind. And your own imaginations again reappear. Therefore, they say it is an internalized thoughts. But in these things, if your mind is immature, impure, like Rajoguna, Tamoguna, so Rajoguna, Tamoguna also have got visions. And that's why we call them hallucinations. So that is the difference between hallucination and Devata Darshana. In hallucination, your own weaknesses, ego, raga, dvesha, insecurity, fears, worries, tensions, your own deep hurt and guilt, whatever hurt and guilt we have, all those things reappear. They assume various forms. And they appear along with the emotions. Emotion and a form, they join together and they come into your mind and you start seeing them. You start hearing voices. Then you say, God is talking to me. I am the only prophet. I am the last prophet. I am talking to me. And he asked me to tell you that you believe that I am the last prophet. And he told me God talks to me only, not through others. Who told you? God told me. How do you know? This is what I get it. So this kind of, all kind of hallucinations you get them. But there is a difference. That's why we say Antakarana Shuddhi first is required. The purity of mind. No prejudices, no ego, no ragadvesha, detachment. So a purity, a sattvikata is required. For that, guidance of a guru and shastra. When shastra gives you, you take with humility and respect and love. So shastra says, like this mantra or some Ishvara's form is given, and you take that form as described in the shastra. Our guru tells you, as he described in the shastra, you take it with respect, without adding your own egos, your own emotional insecurities, worries, fears and tensions. It should be separated. Your fear, that's why first you purify the mind. That's why gurus don't give diksha directly. They take watch for a few months and years. They purify the preliminary state of mind. First, let your mind be balanced, not be highly disturbed. People have the childhood problems. The parents hurt me, or somebody insulted me, somebody hurt me deeply, traumas you have, all that you have to remove first. Mind has to be purified. So the traumas, frustrations, guilt and hurt, deep-seated problems, those things have to be removed. Mind has to become very natural. Sattvic it has to become. Then in that sattvic mind, if you take the Ishta Devata, your Devata, and Guru's suggestion, then you meditate, that will be a true God. Otherwise it could be your own imaginations, your own internalized emotional feelings. Therefore, the hallucinations, therefore any revelation, you can't call it as a God's revelation. Because in that thing you can see them, their ego, go and kill your non-believers and exploit them. How can God revelation will talk like this? Therefore, there is a difference. A negative, what you call your own imagination, or when mind is pure and then you have a darshan, it is different. So these darshans you have, or messages you hear, they will be positive emotions. They will not advise any negative, inhuman thoughts, adharmic ideas, adharmic thing, wild and asuras. Then we say it is not healthy revelation. Therefore, we don't deny. They think that, say like atheists deny such kind of revelations and darshanas, visions of some of these prophets. So they think that when Hindus criticize, we are atheists criticizing like atheists. We are not denying. There are visions. There are what you call hearing sound. Distant sight also you can see. Sitting here you can see what is happening in Bangalore. You can see them. All these things can happen. But in all these things, there are two ways. One is a healthy way, another is unhealthy way. We only advise healthy, we live unhealthy. That's all we mean. We are not atheists like the atheists say all these are fake, all your mental cases. Your disturbed mind can do it. They just dismiss it, atheists. But we don't dismiss them. They are possible and they are true. So, just as in yogic sadhana, tantric sadhana, when you do, certain siddhis come on the way. You may not be consciously attempting for it, but they will come on. Similarly, this also, your attention is in purifying the mind. And also, meditating on Ishvara is, your mind has to learn a meditative state. A pure state, a meditative state is goal. Goal is a pure state of mind, a broad mind, a selfless mind, a purifying concentration. This is the goal. So, your Devata and etc., these are only support for your mind. Your Ishta Devata, God of Shiva, Rama, Krishna, Devi, these are all support for your mind. It is something like a noble idea is given, an idea of compassion, an idea of love, compassion, sympathy. So, these are ideas are given so that your mind can think of them and become pure and broad-hearted. So, these are support. Just as you take an idea as a support to purify your mind, to remove your fears and negative feelings and hatred, you think of love, universal love, compassion. That's why we say, Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. We have prayers like this. Let everybody be happy on the earth. I wish, let everybody live in peace. Let everybody live in happiness. Let everybody, every living being, every creature on the earth be happy. I don't curse anybody. I wish peace and happiness to everybody. Everybody. So this is the way. So you take up an idea so that in your mind whatever negative thoughts are there, they are removed. So the hatred, vengeance, that you are hurt by somebody, all the things will go away when you say peace and love and compassion universal to all. You don't think of this person or that person, all people. Any human being, any living being, people of any language, any state, any religion, anybody. He may be a wicked person, doesn't matter. From my side, I'll bless. I'll bless everybody. I wish good of everybody. So this makes my mind pure and and relaxed. It removes all my negative thoughts. So just as you take the feelings, similarly you take a form of God. That form of God implies the form of God is not a physical form, it is a conscious form. It implies all positive qualities, all beautiful positive qualities of God that is extraordinarily beautiful, like flowers and leaves and flowers and the sky and the moon, like that He is extraordinarily beautiful. And He is also very compassionate. He is unprejudiced. He is kind and compassionate, loving to the whole universe. He doesn't see even the wicked person, devil also He forgives. He doesn't see anybody. So this is the idea of God, you see. In God, once you see a form, beautiful form, qualities, and His qualities, and also His concept of you. Concept should not be a God who has got a vengeance, hatred, divisive. That thought is not there. So these certain understanding, understanding of God, certain feelings and qualities of God, and certain form. This you take it. So this helps you to purify your mind. When you think of this God form alone, what happened? You are thinking of only positive thoughts, vast thoughts, infinity, inclusive, all inclusive, blesses everybody, curses nobody. Even the wickedest person blesses him. Let his mind, let his wickedness go away from his heart. So that way, if you think of this God, then all other whole world is included in Him. Whole Panchabhuta Srishti world is created from Him. Therefore, all the world is included in Him. He includes all living beings, all animals, plants, you and me and all human beings, Devata, Rishis, everybody. So this way, if you take Him, it is a thought, but it is a broad thought, a purest thought. When you think of the purest thought, your individuality, ego, in relational problems of guilt and hurt and fears, ambitions, deep traumas, all of them just get erased. Mind becomes pure and sattvic. So one way it becomes pure and sattvic, and as it becomes sattvic, it keeps on assuming that quality of Ishvara. Assumes the form of Ishvara and Ishvara is common to all, loving and compassionate to all. Your mind also assumes that compassionate, loving and all that. Here, your mind is consciously imagining, isn't it? These qualities it is consciously imagining. The will is operating. It is imagination, but it is a creative imagination. It is imagining positive qualities, positive ideas, positive forms. In that thing, negative gets melted away. This is upasana. But in Vedanta, you are not imagining is good. That purifies you to certain degree. Therefore, we say a nishkama upasana is useful for Vedanta. For Vedantic mind to be able to do Vedantic vichara, that mind is required. Therefore, upasana, we encourage, if the mind is too negative imagination, it is not able to do good imagination. Sometimes what happens, because of our trauma, guilt and hurt, even if we don't want certain negative thoughts, hating, killing, hurting, all these thoughts forcibly come. Some people say negative thoughts are coming forcibly. Even if I don't want, they are coming forcibly subconscious. Then what can it? Then upasana works. Upasana works. Because upasana is when you have got because deep-seated in subconscious mind, lot of negative imaginations, negative thoughts, deep hurt and guilt, they remain suppressed in that thing. They come once in a while. Then what you do is, you change them into positive thoughts. That's what is Ishtadevata. Devata is universal. God is universal. It doesn't distinguish anybody, any group of people, any religion. You may follow any religion, any language, any area, any custom. In all of them sees the basic love and compassion, helping, caring, forgiving. These are all natural. Ishvara himself represents all these positive qualities in absolute measure. He is infinitely contains all positive qualities in life. Any positive quality anywhere in the humanity, anywhere in the animal, anywhere in the plant, all the positive qualities, all in infinite measure is Ishvara. This is what we call Saguna Brahma. Saguna Brahma, that infinite. So then you take him, to be able to imagine, he requires one form. Otherwise, how will you imagine? Human mind, it becomes blank, it slips. You can't imagine. Therefore, you take him one form. But that form is not a physical form. It is a very lively form, and that form includes the entire universe, time and place and everything. It is not a form within time and place. Though he appears in a form, he includes time and place in him, the world and you and me and everything. So that form you take, qualities you take, and you try to imagine. While imagining, two things. In imagination, what happened? You also partake his positive qualities of love and compassion and so. So your mind gets infused with God's qualities. When you think of positive quality, the quality gradually, you start sharing them. You start sharing those qualities, invoking them, inviting them into you. When you surrender to him, Ishvara, you invoke his qualities inside you. In your body, in your mind, in your sense organs. Whichever quality you invoke, that quality comes into you. That means you become a part of Ishvara. You share his quality. You become part of him. And he also, different words use him. Either you invoke, or you invite, or you say qualities are descending into you. Different yogis use these words. All the words mean the same. These are all different way of calling. You may say qualities are descending into me, or awakening into me, or invoking in you, or inviting into you. Or you become a part of Ishvara. Ishvara's qualities you start partaking. Then your negative qualities you leave out. The ego, fear, worry, tension, frustration, suspicion, they goes away. The trust and confidence, you trust everybody, you are confident of everybody. So these things. So all positive qualities come. Then this is what you think of as positive qualities, and Ishvara, this purifies. Therefore, Upasana does an excellent subtle purification, removes the traumas. Deep-seated, not only in this Janma. Some people, right from childhood, some kind of feelings they have. In his past Janma, he has been tortured. Supposing he is caught and killed by a tiger or wild animal, then he had a trauma. Or he died in a very accident or an earthquake, it was a trauma. So the trauma remains in the mind. In this Janma, you can see him is a very fearful person, very much afraid. That means he is carrying the whole. He doesn't know why some children are, for no reason, just traumatic. They feel that because you are carrying from the past life, past Janma. Then you have to purify them. So purify them gradually, you have to come out of them. So therefore, this Ishvara Upasana helps a lot. Purifies all these things. Then makes us sane and healthy. So if this is not done, then you say that, oh, I am seeing all that God, then that becomes a hallucination. It's a dangerous. Because in that thing, your negative thoughts, your impurities, your ego, hatred, along with that, if you say imagination, you will have imagination. You start hearing the voices. You start saying, I'm receiving revelation from God, or somebody's thought. You imagine that whatever thought comes to you, that is God is giving you. But God, you should be able to distinguish whether it is God is giving you or your own mind is imagining. How do you know? You know it only when you have a purity. People think that I got it, therefore it is God. How? God gave me. How? I got revelation. But anybody claims, supposing you claim it, then somebody else claims. Then just as you are a prophet, then he is also a prophet. No, he is not. I am the only one. How? When you get another, that's also good. There can be hundreds of thousands of prophets. In each person is a prophet that way. Anyway, we are all prophets, sir. We also get some messages, some ideas, some thoughts and all that. So any thought, anything is not that. It has to be first purified. Satvik. That's why we say for any sadhana, dharma, purification is the first step. First you be a dharmic person, good person. No vengeance, no hatred, no... Somebody, you must have been hurt and exploited by that, but not carrying vengeance. So you should be able to forget the person and take him naturally. So this basic purity you have to learn by following dharma and going to Guru. Therefore, Gurus don't give directly mantra and all that immediately. First, preliminary personality correction they do. You stay there. In fact, Shastra says that. Last night I was reading one the Vedic portion, Aitareya portion. He says, this should not be taught to anybody. At least minimum who has not lived with you 1 year minimum. He has to live with you 1 year. During that 1 year, you correct his behavior, his mind and emotions and thoughts. Let him serve you. And then after 1 year, then you teach. Not before that. Even to the person who lived in that society, in those days, ancient days, people lived very disciplined life with a good family, good father, mother, a healthy life, healthy society. Even after living in such a healthy society, he has to be under Guru minimum 1 year. Some people may take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Some people take 10 years. After 10 years, they give initiation. Until then, they won't give. Because the preliminary mind has to be corrected. Now these European prophets have come. European means this South Asian. Or West Asia, we call them West Asian. See, they all claim prophets. And nobody talks of purification. First thing is, these so-called prophets who received revelation themselves are traumatic people. They had a lot of internally problems. They say, God is talking to me and God asked me to kill you. God asked me to kill everybody to my religion. Otherwise kill other. These are all their own egos. Their own ego, their own mental cases they put in the form of religion. And people say, oh, all this is God, all this is revelation. No, anybody can become prophet. We also have got plenty. It is not that we don't. I think even after these prophets have come, European prophets, I think even now there must be coming. And there were many more prophets. Only these followers of these 1 or 2 prophets suppressed them, killed them. If anybody claims I am a prophet, I tell you, God told me that I am the last prophet. Afterwards, no prophet will come. If anybody claims he is a satanic, kill him. That way they frightened the society and maintained their prophecy. If you supposing don't kill the people, there will be 1,000 prophets. Within 1 month you will find in India, by world, there will be prophets. You suppressing them, killing them, therefore they are afraid and they are not talking. You give them freedom, you will have hundreds of prophets every day. In India also some people say, God has come to me. We call them God has possessed you. Okay, there might be some kind of some demigod and somebody might have, but minimum condition, you should be talking sane things. Don't threaten people, frighten people, exploit them. God asked you to give me this much of money, you give them, otherwise God will threaten you to hell. Nobody can claim like that. In villages we say, even where I was born village, some people say some God comes to them on Amavasya and Paurnima. But he say that full moon day, and only on those days come. For some people, Thursday and Sundays. I've seen in every village we have, even now we have. And people go to them, and they put some lamp and something, sit there. People sit there, and then villagers known to them, very friends only, they are friends only. And that day something, they are in a different mood, they talk of them. People listen. If you have some problem, some ill health, some problem, some economic problem, poverty, they say, oh, God told you to do this thing. You serve some people. Go to this temple for 5 weeks, 5 Mondays. 5 Mondays, you break your coconut, offer something, 5 Mondays you do, your problem will be solved. If this kind of suggestions they go, any prayer to God, anything is good, people accept it. We don't mind it, do it. After a few days, at least by praying to God, something good will happen. Some punya comes and something good will happen. So you give any positive suggestion, we accept it. But if somebody says, you give me money, God is asking you, asking, go and hit him. People even in the illiterate village say, this is not God, we won't accept it. So this society we have created, that basic dharma, no ego, no selfishness, no exploitation, no using your fears, anger, hatred and traumas. These things if you express in the name of God, we don't accept. It is not God talking to you, it is something else talking. As long as you say, okay, God can talk to you, anybody, any number of prophets, then He can talk to you also. He can talk, we don't mind it. We don't mind. Just because you got certain messages, certain idea, doesn't mean we don't deify you and start worshipping you. It can happen to any number of people. So we take it in general, therefore we don't have problem. India is free from the problem. Otherwise, if we had like this, Europe only one prophet, start killing all others. Whoever claims I am a prophet, I am the only one. What I got is a final. Whatever I wrote it in a book, now no next book come. This is the last book. Now we have to listen for centuries. Even after 1,000 years, this alone you have to follow. And many things become outdated. No, you must follow. So this looks so childish. And these childish people have become, whole world is a mad, I tell you. So much of educated people, professors, psychologists, doctors, engineers, research scholars, they start believing these two religions. Why 2, 3, even including Judaism. And you see them all, these are mental cases. The prophets of these 3 are mental cases alone. And people believe them, all those things. What happened to your mind? Can't you think of common sense? People lost common sense, start believing these people. Therefore, they are more abnormal mind, they are mental, they are Freud cases. These 3 prophets of these 3 religions are Freud cases. First minimum thing is the purity of the mind. Sattvika it should be. Then you can see them. In Sattvika also, everybody doesn't get revelations. Everybody doesn't get visions. If you cultivate the mind, purify the mind and cultivate the mind. You have to cultivate in a one, concentrate in a one form for a length of time, for years together. Then you may get some opens up. Your individual mind gets connected to the collective mind, cosmic mind. Cosmic mind includes yours, mine and everybody, all living beings, all animals, all plants. There is such thing called cosmic mind, of which we are all part. Like you see space, there is a cosmic space. We are all living in that. There is a cosmic earth. All our bodies are part of this main earth. It is born of the same blood and flesh. Blood and flesh is part of mud only, isn't it? We are all living beings. All our bodies are made of same earth. Same earth assuming various shapes, we are all. Same wind is blowing through others. Same wind. I take breath and I leave it into the vast wind. Wind contains all kinds of gases, good and bad and oxygen and all. You take, you leave it. Others take. That means in the standpoint of air, we are all one. The air is one which is moving in you and me and outside. So each time takes one part of it, but the air is one in all. Earth is one in all. Space is one in all. Just as earth is common to all, each one takes one part of the earth, isn't it? One part of that. But this earth is not fixed, because each day we are taking new food. New food we take it, and one part of it gets exhausted into the energy and also goes back into the earth. We leave some portion. and again new comes. It means you take one part of the body, it is continuous process, it is a flow. New earth is coming, food and water is coming, and some part goes away and again comes, again goes away. It circulates like this. Cycles we call them. Similarly, we are all part of the earth. So we are only part of the earth, and the earth is continuously circulating through us. Similarly, air is circulating through all of us. The one broad cosmic air is common to all. Similarly, the cosmic space is common to all. Each one of occupies one place, but not fixed place. We keep on shifting from place to place, isn't it? We move from place to place. We don't have a fixed place. A fixed means a fixed form, but we keep on moving within the space. The same space is common to us all. Same space we all move. So there is a common space in which we all move. Similarly, there is a common mind. Common mind. The same from the common pool, common mind, we all get our thoughts. Thoughts and feelings. Leave them. New thought comes. That I leave. Or sometimes I share with others. So the common cosmic mind is functioning through all of us. We are all part of them. Just as we are, this space is where we are, this is a part of a cosmic space. Our breath is a part of the cosmic air. Similarly, cosmic space, cosmic mind, we are all part of it. So in that thing, everybody's mind is connected there. More and more your individual mind is connected to the cosmic mind, you get a control over cosmos. This is what we call siddhi and powers. More and more you have to drop your individual mind and you tune it with the cosmic mind. More and more you tune it with it, but even tuning there are different areas. Which aspect you tune up, whichever aspect, that power comes to you. There are many infinite powers. There are so many powers in the world, in the cosmic mind. Whichever aspect you tune, you keep on connecting over a period of time. Your mind has to be purified. It has to be able to receive that cosmic mind. Then that cosmic mind manifests to you, expresses through you, that one particular power comes through you. It can be many powers through of eyes, power of ears, power of thinking, power of memory. Some people have extraordinary memory, some people have different kind of things. Some people have many things. I think you must have read in the yogic shastras, number of powers. So all that exist in the cosmic mind. So each one, so this is bhaktas, upasakas do the same thing. So if you concentrate on a particular quality of Ishvara and you wish that that quality should express in you, you have to do for a long time, for sometimes years, depending upon your state of mind. Then that particular quality starts expressing through you. So basic purity is required. Otherwise, you concentrate, you may get little power. But if other aspect of mind is not pure, what happens? You start abusing the power with your ego and it creates more harm to you. More papa you accumulate, then after some time the power may be lost also. What you acquired can be suppressed. The power which has expressed, it will go underground, it will go into subconscious mind, it gets suppressed, it will disappear. It may disappear, again reappear, depending upon how you do. So, in Upasana, we do a creative mind, a mind which is continuously creative imagination. But in Nididhyasana, no creative imagination. You are not inviting a particular quality. You remain just conscious, spontaneously conscious, naturally conscious. Whatever the thing is, good and bad and small and great. There may be small human being, there may be big God or Devata, Rishi. All the powers, all the thoughts, all the mind you are just aware of. The consciousness removes its limitation of sense organ, mind, it breaks off the limitation, it becomes one with the whole cosmic consciousness. One consciousness, that's we call Brahman. Therefore, you stay as that consciousness. You break away from your individual limitation of sense organs and mind and all. It is just like one cosmic space. You are just one cosmic consciousness. So in Vedanta, in Vedantic meditation or Nididhyasana, you are simply conscious of, effortlessly conscious of. In Upasana is a creative imagination. It's a totally opposite. They are not same. So to be able to understand the contrast I described. Otherwise, I am not teaching Upasana. Some Upasana will come in 8th chapter of Gita. This 8th chapter of Gita, Upasana, and how to meditate, how to get this thing, how to go to Brahmaloka, that Upasya Devata, all that comes there. Anyway, I touched it little bit. These things will come in the 8th chapter of Gita. So to contrast, to see this contrast, I have to, not only 8th, even 10th and 11th also. 10th and 11th talks of cosmic form of Ishvara, that's Upasana. 8th chapter, 10th chapter, 11th chapter, these 3 chapters talk of Upasana. And 7th and 9th partly Upasana, partly Vedantic also. So, but here 6th chapter, so it talks of some of the principles are common to Upasana type of meditation, Nididhyasana type of meditation. Some principles are common. Therefore, whatever taught here, you can apply there also. Some of them you can apply here also. But that ultimate, the last stage of watchfulness, you are simply aware. In watchfulness, you concentrate on one thing, that is Upasana. You don't concentrate on anything, you are just awareful. Whatever happens, all that is a part of your consciousness. Just you allow, it is already there. Effortlessness. Upasana is an effort, Nididhyasana is effortlessness. Then your will is dropped. Individuality is negated. Will is negated. All thoughts and relationships are negated. Then this is called no mind. You become one with consciousness. The entire world, entire mind, everything becomes one with your consciousness. So this is Nididhyasana, where you come to be one with Brahman. You discover. It's a discovery. It is an intuition. Because you are not building up a thought. See, cultivating a thought is Upasana. Negating all thoughts, merging all thoughts into one consciousness is Vedanta. See the difference. It is effortlessness, that is through effort. The contrast. Oh, I spoke a lot. So anyway, the shloka is not complete. We'll continue. But certain points have to be cleared, so therefore I touch it. So, prashantatma, jitatmanaha. So these qualities, therefore we emphasize for any upasana, purification. Removing the negative qualities is important. Some people partly purify, partly retain some subtle ego. Therefore, with that upasana, they get little power. Then whatever little that impurity remains, that abuses it. Therefore, we suggest better to do as best purity, as much purity as possible. Then only you use mantra and what you call diksha or anything, then it works. It becomes easy. Another thing is guru. Generally, we advise people to have a guru, because without guru also some people do it due to some past janma. If the other negative qualities are not there, he is lucky. If other negative qualities are there, then he will be in trouble. Therefore, better accept guru. The guru wants you, controls you. Say, you have got some good mind due to your Pura Janma. Because Pura Janma, you must have done some upasana. So some upasana you are doing good, but you have got other aspect of it, some weaknesses, some negative thoughts. If you don't check them, for checking, Guru will watch and tell you, you remove that. And he give you instruction. For this upasana, this you have to follow. So there was one person. He does upasaka. He got little power. But he's a very egoistic fellow. Very, very egoistic. He wants a lot of popularity and make a big following and do this thing. And his guru understood it. Then he made a condition. You see, never advertise yourself. Never make yourself popular. He put a condition. Then whatever guru says, you must follow. There is no way. And then he has been doing. Only whoever comes to him, he talks to him. It doesn't make an advertisement. I met him once. I found terribly egoistic. He says, my guru told me like that, therefore I am controlling. Otherwise, I would have become popular. I would have become like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. I would have become international. Every time he would tell, daily 5 times he would tell. He has little bit siddhi, little power. Then I understood, oh, that's why guru controlled him. If guru were not there, we don't know what he would have done it. So sometimes gurus control and check it. Therefore we say advice always take them. Because he watches some of the negative things he retains. And then he puts a condition. You follow this. Whole life he lived like that. Ultimately, he passed away with that. In the last also, he regretted. My guru told me, otherwise I would have done. Again and again, he thinks of that. So sometimes this helps. Otherwise, you don't know what you do. So, due to some past janma, some people don't need much of advice now. You are already in the path of some meditation, some upasana, because you have done in Purva janma. Some people don't need initiation. Some people, to scratch, beginning from scratch, they have to learn. Even in education, there was one person, Aksharabhyasa, I'll give you one example, you will understand. Aksharabhyasa, we have a one samskara in our 16. Aksharabhyasa means writing, teaching alphabets first day. That day, you do all things, day, Deva Puja you do, and father generally does it, or some other guru, somebody makes him to sit in front of Devata and put one slate on that, or slate or any plate, either they put some rice or put some kumkum. Kumkum, you know, yes, kumkum powder. Either kumkum powder, if you are a Devi Bhakta, kumkum powder, or put some rice. On that rice, he is made to write. With some finger alone, the boy is made to write. Parents, father holds his finger and asks him to write that A. We call our first alphabet is A. Or sometimes you write Omkara, Om, like that. And A, E, and makes him to write. This is called Aksharabhyasa. So, sometimes they use the directly slate alone and write it. And a small boy, one small boy of this 20th century alone, he came, I think, maybe 3 years old, 2.5 years, 3 years old boy, and then his father is holding him and trying to write the alphabet. As he writes it, he erases it, the boy. Again he erases it. They felt what? They felt it is a bad omen, is apashakuna. Your first day Aksharabhyasa, will he get education or not in his life? Say apashakuna is coming, something bad in his thought, wrong thought is coming. Then they asked him, hey, third time again he erased it. Then father felt unhappy, asked him, why are you erasing it? He says, I shall write. You write? That fellow doesn't, he is learning first day. He says, I shall write. And then they are surprised. Okay, you write it. He wrote all alphabets. Then they are surprised. Oh, that's why the boy was wiping out. He's wiping out because nobody taught him. He started right. We say he learned from past janma. So here, he doesn't need Aksharabhyasa, initiation. He already got it. So some people, due to janma of past janma, they don't need any initiation because he already got it. Because the mind is carrying. So a person who don't have it, because the mind has to be turned. A new seed has to be sown in it, or you can say you have to give a new twist. The twisting gives initiation. If the person had in the past janma and he gets a samskara, carries it, then only in this janma you have to only touch it and it continues. What was there already, sometimes it awakens, what you did in Purva janma. You touch it, it awakens. Sometimes even awakening is not required. You go to Guru and do namaskara, it happens. That's all. You go to namaskara. Sometimes you take a photo and namaskara, he does it. Ramana Maharshi didn't do anything. Because already it was there, live. Live it was there. He just say Arunachala, he came and did namaskara, it happened. So that initiation, somewhere it must happen. Either in Purva janma or this janma. Somewhere it must happen. If you already had, okay, continue. If you don't have, then take it. That's what we mean. So there are some rare people who are mature enough, who has received this thing. So only such people we say, you already have it, we don't need it. We don't need you. But some people we see them, they come. So we only say it is only nimittam, he already have it in his mind. Okay, just for sake of tradition. So otherwise, seeing him as an example, all others say, I too don't take initiation, I will do anayur. But you are not capable, he is. He is getting from past janma, you don't have. So seeing him, they want to do. They say, just for sake of them, follow formality blindly. You don't need it, but okay, take it. So he will put a guru and take it. Only just formal. He doesn't need it, but just for sake of, so that in society you follow some tradition. It becomes a right example for others. He himself doesn't need it. Some such people we see them. They are rare, but rarely few people. Just now I told you an example. And later, that person, he was a Ramanuja Sampradaya. And later he became Advaita. Such a great man, very clear Vedanta. And he wrote books in Sanskrit. And he became very popular. Even now people read it. We read his books. Now he is no more. I think in 30s probably, 20s, 30s he passed away. So he was, about him they tell like that when I travel that area, Vijayawada, Guntur, that area, he was such a scholar. Very traditional man, very thing, and he has got all this thing. He understood Vedanta very beautiful way. So this you can see him because of his past samskara. You find here and there very rarely. So purity, we always count it. If you have already, okay, go to the next step. If you don't have, start from beginning. This is what ultimately we mean. Everybody has to get the preliminary steps. If you have crossed one or two preliminary steps, okay, we touch it briefly in this Janma, just nominally touch it and continue with the third step. Supposing 2 steps you have done it, just continue with the third step. But 2 steps also, just for sake of completing, nominally touch it and go. This is the thing everybody has to do. Otherwise, I say that I got my hallucination as a God revelation, then control the whole society, convert everybody, don't allow them to do anything, do what I say exactly, and go and kill the people. And what is this going on? Whole world is going mad. Can't they make out difference? They don't allow you to think. Don't read other books, destroy libraries, destroy other civilizations, destroy other books and religions, kill all other saints and Mahatmas, only ours. This is nothing but asura. It's not spirituality. Okay, we'll see next. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay.
So for the perfect yogi, even if people is seeing him in their waking avastha, so for the perfect yogi, he's not in waking avastha. He is
waking is in him. So he is an underlying principle of the whole thing. So waking is in him.
So you can see that he can see, he can hear, but he is not really.
He stands beyond that. See, there is a mind which is thinking and speaking, yes, but he stands beyond the mind. He expresses through the mind, yes, staying beyond the mind. It is something like you stay higher level, but express through it. But expression may look limited. Because when it is expressed through mind, it may be limited. But he himself stands beyond the mind. He is more than the mind. When expresses, it may be sometimes mistakes also, sometimes limited, sometimes but he himself stands beyond waking state. Beyond all states. He becomes stateless. That is Sakshi. He himself stands, but expresses through them. Because that's how anybody has to do. Yeah.
But he is in Sushupti, but not as a state.
As Swarupa. As a Swarupa. As nature. Yeah, himself. Because it is a timeless existence. It is a timeless, spaceless existence. It is always there. It is underlying all states. It is underlying because that is a timeless, spaceless existence, underlying all. So he stands as that. In way we are also, everybody is that. We are not looking at it. If you just turn your attention, we are also same. Everybody is same. Because the present state of mind is looking that side. It's not looking this side. If it turns that side, you are also the same. Everybody is same. Only thing is, mind is looking that side. It looks that I am only limited. I am not a whole thing. That's what it is. Okay. Oh.